everyone. I hope everyone's having a great day. It is Sunday. And we're gonna talk about some things after I put my little um TikTok story up. Streaming right now on YouTube and Twitch. Link in bio. Yeah. Ooh, okay, that works. Sure. Okay. All right. Hi guys. So I made that post. Cool. Okay. So sorry about that. I was posting on TikTok to let everybody know that I'm live. I am 5 minutes late. I am sorry. Or actually like 13 minutes late. I'm sorry about that. Um no one's fault to blame but my own. I was watching Lisa Frankenstein. And I swear that movie rewired my entire brain chemistry. I know, like a little, you know, 6.1 out of 10 IMDb rated, 53% Rotten Tomatoes rated type of movie, rewired my brain chemistry. But I think it was intentional. I think the whole purpose of the movie is that when it hits the box office, it's not supposed to be good. Like people aren't going to like gravitate to the movie once it hits the box office, but it is directed and produced in a way where it will automatically be a cult classic, and you'll see people talking about this movie like some 5, 10 years from now, creating fan art. um, the movie reminds me, I don't know, it's really quirky and whimsical, and it reminds me of what I would consider a movie that would be have a musical adaptation. I don't know why. I just feel like in the next 5 years, 5 to 10 years, Lisa Frankenstein is going to have a movie musical adaptation, and I am excited for that because, or a musical adaptation, excuse me, because it's a really cute movie, and I'm gonna rant about it. You know what I mean? Jenna Davis, Lori. Who was Lori in Lisa Frankenstein? Now I'm curious. But yeah, things have been. Oh, I think that was like that extra who invited Lisa to the party. Okay, anyway, things have been good. Things have been okay from now since yesterday. So I stretched. I've been stretching a lot. Don't know if a lot of y'all know this, but I am dealing with a lot of foot pain for the past year or so. And it has impacted the way I work out. And it has gotten a lot harder for me to exercise. I used to walk 10K steps on the treadmill, and because of my feet pain, I am no longer able to. So I kind of had to do a hard reset and go back to my roots, go back to the basics, and just change my diet up. So I have been on this diet for about 3 weeks now. And I want everybody to know that I am eating a lot. You know, I'm not just eating cucumbers and water. Okay, I'm eating a lot. I'm losing weight, which is good. But I am primarily focused on this diet, not so much for the aesthetics this time, as much as it's to make myself feel better. I realized through some research that, like with plantar fasciitis, it can get inflamed if you are eating a lot of processed sugars and carbs. So I have started my first 2 weeks of my diet on like an low anti-inflammatory sugar detox diet. and that sucked. But I needed to do what I needed to do. And again, it didn't suck because I wasn't eating enough. It sucked because I was eating the same food for 2 weeks straight, and I wasn't eating it with a lot of sauces because I wanted to just make sure that it was as low sodium, low sugar as possible. Though none of the food I'm eating really has a lot of sugar in it. But I've been feeling great lately. I've been feeling really good. It also helps me pinpoint what the root of the problem is. Like if it's something in my diet that I'm eating that is causing my foot to be inflamed or irritated, do I need to remove it? Do I need to add it back in? So the diet has been helping. More so for the overall well-being and health of myself, and not so much for like how I want to look. However, I will say now that I have been scaling now that I've purchased a scale and I have been weighing all my food, I have found a nice balance of how much food I should be eating and what that portion control looks like. I never had that before, especially when I was in the gym and I was bulking and or I was trying to eat my macros and I was trying to eat my protein. Something would always happen where I would overeat my protein. So what I would think is 4 ounces of chicken breast was actually like 8 ounces, which is way too much chicken breast. And 4 ounces of chicken breast is about 35 grams or so. So I was eating double that. So I was eating like 70 grams of chicken breast. And then feeling full and overwhelmed and wondering why I'm not seeing the results I need to in the gym. Now I'm eating like consistently 120 grams of protein, 120 to 130-ish grams of protein every so often. The diet plan I'm on fluctuates in protein. I'm eating complex carbs, and everything's working out for me. Everything's really working out the way I need it to. I know how much to eat and how much protein I need, especially if I am trying to curb addictions in like cravings. A lot of people don't realize this, but when it comes to cravings, the best way to curb them is if you are eating enough protein and eating enough calories. If you're like starving yourself, this is why I'm never an advocate for people who starve themselves, because if you are starving yourself, you may risk getting more cravings and crash dieting. So I don't know, this diet plan has really been teaching me how to weigh my food, what 4 ounces of chicken breast look like, what 3 ounces of veggies look like, what 6 ounces of protein would look like, you know what I mean? And I'm on week 3 and it's working out. And I don't know, it feels like this could be a lifestyle. Like this is a great transition into wanting to eat healthier, because when it comes to diet and exercise and all that, a lot of people get into exercise for vanity reasons, because they want to look swole, or maybe they want to change their physique. I know for girls, they want to have like a big juicy booty, but they want it natural, and I don't know, some girls, they want to be muscle mommies, I guess, and I think when you're looking at fitness like a lifestyle, like an actual lifestyle, your why has to be bigger than aesthetics. Like it can't just be I want a fat ass. Because nowadays you can buy a fat ass. Like you really can. Like, do you know how many women in Atlanta and men in Atlanta get their BBLs on credit care? And their BBLs look snatched. Body is tea. No Lipton. No Theraflu. But you can buy ass if you really want a fat ass, right? And then just upkeep it. Eat your fats and veggies and all that, right? Or if you want to be swole, where their performance enhancing DRUGS is to keep you swole, If you want to be skinny, you can buy that too by going on the diabetic drug. I don't know if I'm trying to censor myself. Though later on in the video, I'm probably not going to censor myself a lot, but like you know what I mean, like the Ozempic. I don't know. I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying Ozempic or not, but that's what I'm talking about. Like that's how you can. What I'm saying more or less is, if you want a specific look, whether that's skinny, whether that's curvy, whether that's swole, you can take shortcuts to get there if you're really that desperate. Your why, when it comes to fitness, your why has to be much, much bigger than how you look, because it'll be more sustainable. And so if your why is because I don't want to get high blood pressure when I get older, or I don't want to get on medication when I'm older, or I still want to have full function of my body when I'm like 80, you know, that's a much stronger why than I just want a fat ass. Not saying that the fat ass isn't like important, but I'm just saying that you'll be more driven to want to be healthy if it's outside of visual aesthetics. You know what I mean? And that's how I feel like when I'm on this diet, because I'm eating a lot and I'm not really starving myself at all, which is great. Oh, trigger warning, sorry, ED stuff. But I'm satisfied a lot of the time. Like I don't have any cravings. Like I'm literally looking at cake decorating right now because I have a weird fascination. It comes in waves. My fascination with cake decorating comes in waves. It comes every like 1 to 2 years. I'll like go on cake decorating TikTok, and now I'm looking at like people baking cookies, and I don't have any cravings towards it at all. I don't have any cravings towards cakes or cookies, and I'll just look at them, right? And I just look at them because I think the concept of baking is cool. And I think that's because, you know, all of my protein goals are being hit. I have no cravings. I'm eating a lot during the day. And it just does, you know, very well for my body. So I'm very grateful for that. I also changed some things up. I am doing cardio most of the time. I'm doing it like every day, maybe like 6 days a week. And some cardio is LISS, low intensity, steady state cardio. Some is HIIT, high intensity interval training, you know, cardio. It just depends on the day. So I'm not out here overexhausting and overworking myself. But yeah, I'm just really happy that I feel satisfied. I don't feel bloated, because when I was eating way too much protein than I should have been, I felt incredibly bloated. And I'm just, you know, I don't know, I just feel a lot better. I'm not as inflamed anymore, and that's great. And yeah, I'm excited to see where this takes me. This is a great transition into my, you know, 30s, because now I'm really prioritizing my health. I can't get away with eating fast food and on the weekends and then trying to go into the gym and trying to do what I need to do in there without feeling some repercussions and it showing. You know what I mean? And that's good for me. I like that. I really like that. So with that said, let's get into some topics that I want to talk about that have to do with what I have in my title. So today I want to talk about Lisa Frankenstein, because I saw it for the first time. Then I want to talk about my thoughts on Ironheart, because I actually finished that this week and I forgot to cover it yesterday. Then I want to do like a spiel on some of my favorite movies and media and why. And like some of my favorite movies that I have, like why they might not still be my favorite movies anymore, but I appreciate them for what they did at the time. We'll get into it. So we'll start off with that, and then we finally got Marvel Rivals up and running. So we're going to play some Marvel Rivals. Yay. My boyfriend, he's Grandmaster 2. He's Grandmaster 2 in Marvel Rivals. and he says that I'm a really good strategist. So I don't know, maybe that means something, but okay. Let's get into the topics. Now, okay, Lisa Frankenstein. Lisa Frankenstein. Let's talk about it, y'all. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Okay. Here's some little tidbits about me. Okay. Little old me, little old Axis. Okay. Here are some tidbits. Okay. One. If you were to ask me one of my favorite time periods, like what my favorite solid time periods are, it would have to be in between the mid 80s into like the early 90s. So 85 to 94. Okay. The vaporwave aesthetic, like, okay, I don't even have to, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is like my favorite aesthetic, hands down. Like, I fuck with this aesthetic heavy. And it's not just like the imagery, but it's also the music. I really like the future funk music. I think my favorite band or like producer is Arteezy. Vaporwave. No. Okay, so here's my favorite song. Childhood. Okay, so my favorite vaporwave artist is Childhood. Okay. And my favorite song is this. Okay, if you ever want to know what my theme song is, just know it's this song. All right, I don't know what this song does to me, but it just alters the chemicals in my brain. It's like the right side of my brain and my left side of my brain are working together, and it just makes so much sense to me. And yeah, this is one of my favorite songs, but the vaporwave aesthetic is like a really big aesthetic that I've been into for years. I got into it, I believe, in like 2016, unironically. Yeah, I got into it in 2016, which is when this song was created. What I really like about the vaporwave aesthetic is that it's like a commentary on capitalism in a way, but they do so where it's very like colorful, artistically driven. They're incorporating elements of Roman statues and Roman art with like modern art. So like classic art visions meet like the modern art visions, you know, and it all comes together, and it's this big balance. And I'm so sorry, but I am obsessed with these colors. I'm obsessed with these colors. They remind me of my early childhood when I was like 3 or 4 years old. You know, I got my first Barbie doll. It was this Coca-Cola Barbie. They remind me of like Starburst, the little jelly sandals I used to wear as a kid, the little berets that little black girls used to wear in their hair, the little gumballs, inflatable, neon colored furniture. I don't know, if you're like a 90s or early 2000s baby, you would get what I'm picking. You would pick up what I'm putting down. All right, you'd get what I'm trying to say. Vaporwave to me, like the aesthetic, the music, it's I don't know, it's like a vibe. For me, it's a vibe that I can kind of taste, that I enjoy. I'm not a fan of AI art, but what I will say is the Miami Vice apartments that you see. Okay, no, let's go on Pinterest. But the Miami Vice apartments that you see on TikTok that are like AI art, you know, I love those apartments. I love them so much. So I'll show you a picture. Like I don't know. I high key want my house to look like this so badly. Like you guys have no idea how passionate I am that my apartment, my penthouse looks like this. Okay, like you guys have no idea. Like the colors, the neon, the sunset in the background. Like this is just something. And then the filter that looks very retro. I used to take a lot of photos of myself, and I used to try to emulate like a retro filter. I kind of want to go back to doing that again, you know, with a better camera and better quality, and maybe like some good camera lessons. But like just stuff like this, just godsend. Like I love it so much. This right here, this here is a little bit more me. Like it's 1992 and you're a mob wife. Yeah, this is a little bit more me. I don't know. I like the sultry vibe to it, but you still get the neon colors of like the orange and the blues and the purples in the sky. I don't know. I just really want my home to look like a Miami Vice apartment. Like I am, in fact, a wife to a mobster. You know what I mean? Like this stuff here. See, so this is real. This is no AI, right? This is no AI. This here, this would all the way into it. Okay. So I'm laying the seeds down, right? I'm laying the seeds down to talk about Lisa Frankenstein, right? Because I am letting y'all know that I really like mid 80s, early 90s aesthetics. I just do. I like the neon colors. I like the brightness. I like the music. It was a fun time, right? And so when I saw this movie, immediately just looking at the period pieces of the furniture and the outfits that everyone was wearing, I was just like, holy cow, this is dope. I'm rocking with this heavy. And then when I saw that it had like alternative and gothic undertones with how Lisa Staples, I think her name is, evolves, and when she gets her unalived boyfriend, right? I was sold. Because those are literally my two favorite aesthetics. I don't know. I've been going through motions lately, and I am trying to put an effort, a heavy and solid effort, into how I want to look into my adulthood, like what my style is going to look like, what it's going to represent, right? And I think I'm very big on balance, right? In balance and things that I really like. And while I love neon bright 80s, 90s based colors, I also like gothic and alternative things. I do. I would consider myself an alternative girl because of just the things that I've picked up over time, like being 11 and listening to Metallica's Ride the Lightning the first time, watching a lot of anime, like really discovering pop punk when I was in college, and listening to all of Fall Out Boy's discography, Iron Maiden, Black Sabbath, all those bands. Like, you know, I'm pretty alt, like in here, right? But maybe I don't really like translate that in when I'm like talking to you guys. Maybe it doesn't come through, but I don't know, looking back on myself and all the things I've gotten into and the sub communities and subcultures I've gotten into, I've realized that I'm pretty alternative and I'm willing to put on. And I think the reason why I haven't leaned into that aesthetic as much as I want to is because I never wanted to feel like a poser. But, or like I didn't know about this super niche underground heavy metal band that I should know about, right? But like, you know, there's so many people who wear Nirvana shirts or Slipknot shirts or whatever shirt of whatever like well-renowned heavy metal grunge band, right? And then they don't listen to the music at all and they just do it for the look and the style. Hopefully I'm not one of those people. I do not want to be one of those people, right? But, you know, that does happen and nobody really cares as much. And honestly, it's a little weird if you do care that much. I think from what I understand, based off of what I have been looking into about like alt and goth culture, for gothic culture, you have to like the music, right? So you have to like gothic music, like, but you don't like. It still doesn't matter. Like if you want to dibble and dabble into the aesthetic, like it's fine. Like regardless, like no one should gatekeep an aesthetic for you. But I know people who don't really dress goth are technically considered goth because they're a fan of the music, right? And then for alt, I guess you just kind of have to like the music, the band t-shirts. It really shows in with like the accessories that you wear. You know what I mean? But I say all that to say because Lisa Frankenstein is a good example of the balance of my favorite aesthetics. Okay, my favorite aesthetic of vaporwave and like bright neon colors, mid '80s, early '90s. Technically mid 80s, all of the 90s, into some of the early 2000s, if we're really being real here. Up until 2010 is probably like my favorite aesthetic. Maybe we can cut it off at like 2005. But in between then, those are my favorite aesthetics, heavily leaning into like the mid 80s, early 90s, right? And the neon colors and the furniture and all of that mixed with like the gothic evolution of Lisa Frankenstein, or Lisa Staples, I guess that's her name, throughout the movie. As she changes her looks, she changes her outfits. They get more, whimsical, darker, and it's like a stark contrast amongst the neon colors in the movie, and that's just perfect for me. I also like that it's not really a scary movie, yet it's labeled as horror, but it's not as scary. Like, it's just goofy, right? It's like Beetlejuice. So, and I love me some Beetlejuice. You know what I mean? Yeah, I wouldn't even say it's as dark as Heather's, honestly. It's just a, I don't know, it's just like a funny rom-com movie. There's this new movie that came out that I really want to see, but I don't want to get scared. But I really want to see. It's Together. Well, why can't I make it big? Damn. I want to make it big, but you see how their hands are like intertwined with each other. That tells you all you need to know about what this movie's about, right? I really want to see this movie, but I'm scared because I feel like it's gonna be body horror heavy, and cosmic horror like trips me out, and I think it's gonna be very cosmic horror coded. But I do want to see this movie. And where was I going with that? I don't know, but Together is a movie, like it's a romantic movie about relationships, right? But it's a little bit more horror-esque, right? Like the horror is there, the body, obviously you can see with the hands here, the body horror is there, but the message behind it is strong, which was probably why it would be considered a good movie, right? But Lisa Frankenstein isn't that scary. It's just kind of quirky and weird and goofy and unserious. And has like some like horror like homages, but like not really that scary, if you will. I also have I've had a huge crush on Cole Sprouse when I was a little kid, when he was on The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, so it's cool to see that he's still acting and he's doing stuff. And I don't really know much about Catherine Newton, but she does kind of look like Chaperone, and I think that's cool. Chaperone's pretty, so. But I also like, I don't know, I think my favorite brand of hashtag FFFFFFF woman is the ones with like super curly hair, So 3A texture and up. Anything underneath, get out of here. All right, get out. All right. So I like to see white girls with super curly hair. So I like the actress. I like some of the outfits that she was wearing in the movie. I like the period costumes and the furniture that was in there to truly represent that we're in the late 80s or transitioning into the 90s. And I like the message behind it. I'm not going to spoil it too much because I would like some of y'all to watch this movie. But I will say that this movie is pretty solid, and the themes of like relationships, coming into your own, coming of age, neglecting your children, even that whole concept of like how she ended up with a stepmom and being in the custody of her father and how that's impacted her, and how like this big tragic moment that happened in her life basically changed her life, and she's struggling through it. And because she is the stepchild, now in custody of the father that her biological mother divorced, it seems as if there is a lack of concern for her feelings and what she's going through when it comes to the tragic events that have happened with her biological mom. So it's a very interesting movie. I definitely recommend it. It's not too scary at all. It's really funny. Inappropriate, yeah, here and there. But very fun. Very fun, very interesting. I would love to be here for Halloween. um, but yeah, that's all I got to say about Lisa Frankenstein. Just rewired my brain chemistry and reminded me that if I was ever to embody a specific aesthetic or look or style, it would definitely have to feel like this movie. It would have to be the balance of the bright neon colors of the 80s, 90s mixed with like dark, vampy, black undertones. I don't know how I can do it without it being too much, without it making sense, but I can, I'll try. I'll give it a try. So, yes, Lisa Frankenstein is good. All right, now we're going to Ironheart. So I finished Ironheart this week, and I meant to talk about this yesterday, but forgot. Right when I was going through my musty deck, I was like, oh crap, I forgot Ironheart. What happened with that? And I remember Ironheart got some controversy because she did some unlikable things as a superhero, right? Like she was a morally gray person towards the first half of the movie, and then towards the end she did some questionable things too, and I guess that made her unlikable. But I guess I don't know what the complaints were outside of the anti-woke people just bitching about anything that has a person of color in it. Like I just like anti-woke people just stress me out, and they make everything less fun because the goalpost moves. The goalpost moves, and y'all know the goalpost moves. The anti-woke people know the goalpost moves. And I know it's a part of a bigger agenda. I know it's the fight to make things less politically correct, but technically everything to an extent is politically correct. You know what I mean? Like everything's political. And I guess when people think about politics, they think about red versus blue, Republican versus Democrat. And that's not what politics embody, because some people might not even align with either party, really. It really has to do with how you've grown up, where you live, how you were raised, where you live has been impacted by, you know, the institutions put in place. It's not so much about I'm a Republican and I believe in conservative values, or I'm a Democrat and I believe in liberal values. It's a lot more intricate than that. You know, there's a lot more nuance, and that's what I mean when I say everything's political. Your very existence, especially if you're a person of color, is probably political and will probably impact you in a certain way. And I think that in order to make good art, you have to shed light on these political things, you know, or these things. Now, there's a way you can do it where it's not preachy. For example, Ironheart wasn't all that preachy at all. It was just a show about a girl who is a genius who is able to make the Ironheart suit, right? And she lives in Chicago, and that's just it. And if you're filling in the gaps of how that can be seen as woke or politically correct, maybe you're a part of the political correctness you complain about. Maybe that's a you problem, right? If you can't take out the politics and just see them as a person, you know what I mean? Because like I said, everything is more or less political. If you can't just see this character as a person that exists, then you are also a part of the problem that you complain about, things being politically correct, you know? But this movie this show was good. The series was okay. I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie, there were some scenes in some episodes that were a little rushed, but it wrapped up pretty well for what it needed to accomplish. Unsure if it's gonna get a season 2. Would like for it to get a season 2, but I think folks are having a strong vendetta against Disney, right? I made a whole video about this, actually, talking about Disney and the quote-unquote woke problem that they had. And I more or less said that the problem people really have with Disney isn't that they're woke and performative, right? And I've got to stop using the word woke because we're all out here using it wrong. But like I said, the problem with Disney isn't that they are quote unquote woke and performative, or that they're woke and they keep putting in like diversity and inclusion and all of that, right? Like they're trying to hit a quota. The problem with Disney is that they are like they're a business and they're capitalistic first, and they never had like they have been running off of the IPs of the golden age of animation since like 1980 something, right? And they keep regurgitating these IPs. They keep rebooting live action Sleeping Beauty, live action Little Mermaid, live action this and that. They acquire all these IPs again in their very capitalistic nature. They acquire all these IPs that they have no business acquiring. Star Wars, I think they have Alien versus Predator, Marvel, these super large IPs, and then they don't know how to maintain them. I think up until recently, because I haven't been keeping up with Star Wars lately, but I think Star Wars was having a lot of those issues, especially with the park, as they introduced the Intergalactic Star Cruiser Hotel, and it didn't go well because it felt like Disney didn't understand the true nature of Star Wars and its fans. Marvel fell to the wayside because, as Disney does when they acquire something or when something takes off in the business of Disney and it does well, they beat it into the ground, create a formula around it until it's no longer popular anymore, and then move on to the next best thing, right? Luckily, with Marvel and comics and whatnot, people are really big fans of their comics, so they'll always have that core fan base of people who just want to support them because they want to watch the comics, or they want to see their favorite comic book character on the big screen, right? But a good example of this holding true is the most recent phase of Marvel, or the past few phases of Marvel. The one phase where whatever phase Jonathan Majors was in, where he was Kang. From what I heard, Ant-Man Quantumania wasn't that good. Not a lot of people liked it. And I think people marked Ant-Man Quantumania as the beginning of the end for Disney or for Marvel being acquired by Disney, because up until that moment, every single movie that came out by Marvel was amazing. It was good. It was awesome, right? However, I will say one of my biggest issues with a lot of the Marvel movies is that they are formulaic. A lot of them are. A lot of them don't break a lot of rules. They just kind of hit a quota. They're a fun time. Don't get me wrong. Like, I enjoyed myself with Fantastic Four, but it's like a roller coaster ride, Like, I'm not expecting A24 quality or Neon quality or even like Lisa Frankenstein quality from Marvel. I'm just not expecting that. You know what I mean? I'm there to see my favorite character. I'm there to see what the end credits look like. I'm there to clap when I see a character that I recognize get a cameo. Like, that's what I'm there for, Some of the anti-wokeists will say that Deadpool and Wolverine was probably one of the best movies to come out from that Marvel phase because it wasn't woke. It wasn't woke, you know what I mean? And I don't know, knowing what I know about Deadpool as a hero, he's a pretty like progressive superhero. He's like a pansexual, right? Like, I don't know, it's just, I don't know, the goalpost keeps moving. And so that's why when I look at a show like Ironheart, gotta give it a chance, right? Ryan Coogler directed it, and I'm a big fan of Ryan Coogler. He did a great job with Sinners and Black Panther. He's probably going to do a good job with Ironheart, and it wasn't bad. Like I said, it was rushed at the beginning. Some of my favorite actors were in it, like Eric Andre for a minute, and then that light-skinned Puerto Rican dude with the freckles. Anthony Ramos. Yes, he was Hamilton's son. Yeah, light-skinned Puerto Rican dude with the freckles. That's what I call him. Yeah, he was in it, and I like him. I like him as an actor. So it was cool to see him make an appearance in the MCU. And you know, it was an okay movie. I was okay with it. It's not bad. Ooh, I also want to talk about something else because I told you guys that I was reading The Children of Blood and Bone, and it's being made into a movie. Like, it's being made into a movie, and they got the cast. Like, they got the cast out, and holy shit. Can we just take a look at this all-star studded cast? For just a few minutes, can we take a look at it? Let's just take a look at the cast, okay? Because, what do you mean? Damson Idris as Prince Anan, and Viola Davis as Mama Agba, and then Amandla Stenberg as Princess Amari. I'm not going to pronounce her name. I'm not going to butcher it, but like, this actress is pretty, and she looks like she's 15, but she's really like 34. That's sending me. Cynthia Erivo's in it. Idris Elba is the big bad. Well, wait, no, he's the big bad. Okay, I gotta go back and read this to see who Lake Khan is. I think Lake Khan is the god, but like, this movie's gonna be really good. Even if it's not produced well, okay, which I doubt that it won't be produced well. This like, first row alone, star-studded cast. Star-studded cast. First row alone. Okay, like, this movie's gonna be really good. Viola Davis only needs to show up there for a half an hour for this movie to be amazing. You know what I mean? And I'm like so excited for it. I think this is gonna be the movie that is going to rewire how people look at African folklore and just Black people in fantasy. I think it's going to have a Black Panther explosion in a way that we haven't seen before. And I'm excited to see what that looks like. I am. Who knows? It might be just as big as Harry Potter. I hope so. And I don't know. Speaking of Harry Potter, I'm so grateful. Like, knowing who J.K. Rowling is now and how she's just like really annoying and chronically online and antagonizing trans people, I'm like really happy that I'm like low-key never got into Harry Potter. I still low-key want to read the books, but like, I don't know. She's just too annoying, and I feel like with her, she's rebooting the Harry Potter series on HBO, and she's turning it into a televised series streaming platform. So right, so okay, so I guess this is the new Harry Potter. I don't know. In my humblest of humble opinion, okay, but he's cute though. Okay, he's adorable. I'm sorry. Anyway. In my humblest of humble opinion, if I can be okay, he's adorable too. I'm not gonna lie. If I can be completely transparent here, like full transparency, we don't need a reboot of this. We don't need a reboot of this movie, okay, or of the movies. The spin-offs were cute and they were a moment, but like rebooting this into a series just sounds like a filthy, gross cash grab that nobody asked for. And I don't think it's gonna do too well on HBO Max. Yeah, I just don't think it's gonna do as well as I think J.K. Rowling wants it to do. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's just my humblest of humble opinion. I just hope Children of Blood and Bone has like a Harry Potter come up with this movie, because this cast is amazing. Like, those people, like I said, even if the production sucks, even if the quality sucks, the acting is gonna be off the chain. The acting's gonna make up for everything. You know what I mean? I'm gonna see, I think in 2027, I'm gonna see a lot of MFers with gray hair and silver eye contacts. I don't know. I just have a feeling. I have a vibe. Okay. So yeah, there's that. I saw Ironheart. And so let's talk about some of my favorite movies and why. So the first movie I really wanted to talk about, when it comes to some of my favorite movies and media and television shows, so it was The Help. Alright, I put this up here because at one point I really did like The Help, and then after doing some reflection, I started to not like The Help anymore. Because the white savior complex discussion gets incredibly old. It gets very uncomfortable to see. Emma Stone's character writing the story of the Mississippi Help in the 1950s, and most of the Mississippi Help are black women. And then you have Bryce Dallas Howard, who I didn't know was this woman here, the girl who ate the shit pie that Octavia Spencer's character gave her, right? Let me tell you something. Is this girl right here, who also has all of this going on back here. Like, hello? Nobody told me she was Nobody told me she was stacked like that. Nobody told me she was thick like that. Nobody told me that she was carrying all that back there. Okay. I was just like, excuse me? I was shocked. I was. Okay. I did not know that Bryce Dallas Howard was actually this woman right this woman right here. All right. And then Jessica Chastain was also in The Help. And she was the blonde girl. She was the Marilyn Monroe trope in the nice, big, luxurious house that all of the stuffy wives that Bryce Dallas Howard was the lead of did not like, because she basically married rich and dressed like Marilyn, and you know what I mean. And you know what's ironic about all of these actresses? You know what's super ironic about all of them is that they all have red hair. Talk about the redheaded representation. It's just redheads and black folks. So I thought that was really funny that Bryce Dallas Howard gets confused for Jessica Chastain, and then you have Emma Stone, and they all have red hair. But I ended up, like, in the beginning, I really liked this movie. I liked Viola Davis's acting. It was really good. But when I realized that it was just another proxy white savior complex where Emma Stone comes in and she basically takes lead of writing the stories of these, or telling the stories of these maids, and being like the refuge for these maids, it kind of takes the autonomy out of the characters, and I stopped liking it. You know what I mean? I think at the time when I did watch this movie, I really appreciated the honesty a lot of the characters had, how they all had their different motives, and just what it was like living back in that time period. And I still go back to this movie every so often, time and time again. I just see it from a more critical lens. So yeah, The Help was one of my favorite movies, but kind of moved a little bit lower on the totem pole. Another movie I liked was Promising Young Woman. I really liked this movie when I dealt with like my first like actual wait. Is this Invisible Woman? That's not Invisible Woman, is it? That's not Sue Storm. She kind of looks like Sue Storm. Anyway, I was watching Promising Young Woman. And I watched this a lot when I was dealing with like my first traumatic breakup. And I watched it about 8 times. And I thought it was a really good movie. I thought it was poetic. I thought it was dark. I think it also carries the aesthetic that I like in Lisa Frankenstein, where it's like these bright neon colors, but maybe like in the outfits and even in the color of her wig and all of that, and in the lighting, but like you don't really see the like goth or alternative aesthetics, but you see like the dark undertones in the storytelling. So it's like all bright and cutesy visually, but when it actually comes to the source material of like what they're talking about and what the themes are, they're dark. And it's a disturbing theme, right? Because her friend gets assaulted by a group of men who are trying to cover up her assault, but it's still, to me, at the time I thought it was a pretty good movie, and then I remember watching As Told by Kenya's commentary on why she thought the movie wasn't that good, and then I think Princess Weeks went in and kind of broke down why this movie can be harmful, as positioning the police as the ultimate retribution to somebody who is an assaulter, when we know that the police kind of works and the justice system works with people who have assaulted other people, in a way where they can get out of the crime unscathed if they have enough money, right? So basically, Promising Young Woman for y'all. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about like what the movie's about, and then I'm gonna like spoil it. So if you don't want to hear any spoilers, then you can leave. And that's okay. I get it. I still love you. But Promising Young Woman is about this character named Nina. Is this girl's name Nina? No, her name is Cassie. This character's named Cassie, who lost her friend. She lost her friend. I guess they were both in medical school together. And look at this imagery here. Look at it. She's a martyr. She's a martyr, guys. You see the imagery, right? See it? Martyr. All right. Anyway, Cassie loses her friend in medical school, and it's very traumatic for her as to how she lost her friend. Her friend basically commits, she harms herself, and makes the ultimate sacrifice, and it affects Cassandra a lot, and what ends up happening is she drops out of school, and she ends up staying back home with her family. I think Jennifer Coolidge plays the mom. I like Jennifer Coolidge. She ends up staying with her family, and her family's like, hey, what's going on? You're kind of not really doing much with your life. The coworker she works with is also like, girl, you're also not doing much with your life. Like, why are you doing this? What's going on? And so what she likes to do for sport is she likes to go to clubs and pretend to be unconscious, and guys take her home and they try stuff with her while she's unconscious, and then she wakes up and she's like, oh, why are you touching me? Why are you assaulting me? And they all freak out and they're like, whoa, it's not like that. I wasn't trying to do that type of stuff to you. I'm so sorry. You know what I mean? And she's like, well, no, you actually were. So, and she like puts them in a very uncomfortable position of them having to confront the idea that they were about to assault her, more or less, as a drugged up woman from the club, right? Even though she's pretending to be like a drugged up woman from the club. And so, eventually she stops doing this type of stuff, and like this is her retribution to what happened to her friend Nina, because what happened to Nina is she was assaulted. She was assaulted, and she was assaulted by a group of medical students that went to her school at a party. I think they DRUG'd her, and did what they did to her, and that's the reason why her friend Nina unalived herself, and that's also why Cassie's out for retribution and trying to catch like almost rapists in the act, men who are about to assault her in the act. She approaches Alison Brie's character about the situation, because Alison Brie's husband, like her character's husband, was also one of the dudes that like gang assaulted her. And Alison Brie is like, well, what do you want? Like, why are you talking about that? That's so long ago. You need to get over it, right? One of those women that kind of sides with the the misogyny and of raping someone, you know what I mean? And Cassandra's like, oh, well, okay, fuck you, I guess. And so what ends up happening is, and I don't know how she predicts this, but she goes to the bachelorette party of the group of medical bros that had assaulted her friend, who is now deceased. And she dresses up as a nurse, and she does like this weird like stripper thing with them, to a lovely montage of Toxic, covered by a violinist. Shout out to the violinist who covered Britney Spears' Toxic. And you know, she's here. She's doing the like being a lady of the night, I guess. A midnight ballerina for them, or cosplaying a midnight ballerina for them. And then she ends up playing, I guess, like towards the end, she pretends that she's passing out, right? And then the dude who actually was like the front runner in assaulting Nina approaches her and is about to touch her, and they get into a tussle, and he ends up unaliving Cassie. And it ends with Cassie somehow bringing all the evidence back to the dude who assaulted Nina, somehow getting arrested during the wedding. Now, there's a lot of details I left out, like she gets evidence from the lawyer who tried to cover up the case of Nina's assault. She talks to Alison Brie's character, who was kind of going along with the rape. She talks to a bunch of other characters to help her make the ultimate sacrifice and ultimately like frame this dude for not just rape but now murder. I wasn't supposed to say that, but when it's all said and done, and how it's supposed to end is that the dude that raped Nina is eventually jailed for unaliving Cassie. And so that's how that movie ends. And I think it's a great like femme fatale, feminine rage type of movie. I think it's really awesome. I love it. But then when I realized that who is drawing Cassie's outfits? Okay, that's pretty cool. Cassie's outfits are cool, cute. You know, see how she's doing like the dark here and then the light here? Anyway, getting sidetracked. When it's all said and done, the movie is very fun and entertaining, but it's not realistic when it comes to how assault cases are actually handled. And I guess you can mirror that to what is currently going on with a lot of people being brought to their knees with these assault cases. Diddy, for good example, can pay people off and somehow not get persecuted for the crimes that he actually did commit and get a way lighter sentence than he deserved. And in the same breath, these women that have came out about their interactions with Diddy, their assaults with him, are ended up smeared in the court of public opinion. And that's just because powerful people like Diddy, or powerful people like the dude who unalived Cassandra and assaulted Nina, those dudes tend to get away with this stuff and are able to buy themselves out of the situation. The court justice system benefits those dudes way more than they benefit the victims who are impacted by them. I guess is a better way to put it. You know what I mean? But anyway, I digress. All right. Yeah. It's still kind of my favorite movie. May watch it again. It's a great feminine rage movie. So definitely am looking into watching it again, but you know, I don't know. I'm a little bit more critical of that movie as well. All right. So this is a series, okay? This is a series that I rocks with heavy. I rocks with this series heavy, okay? I think it's really good. It's called Swarm. Let me see if I can make it big. Oh my god, why can't I make it big? Chloe Bailey was in this movie, and everyone was freaking out. Everyone, I'm gonna need y'all to start learning how to stop. Y'all need to stop trying to raise these kids, like these actresses, especially black actresses, vicariously. Cause like, yeah, see, Chloe Bailey's in this movie. Cause like when everybody's black auntie seemed to come out as soon as they saw Chloe Bailey was doing a sex scene in the first 10 to 15 seconds of this movie. Like, it wasn't that serious. It wasn't that outrageous. And the amount of black aunties that came out and were like, Chloe don't need to be doing that. I don't know why Chloe would do something like that. That is disrespectful to her. She don't need to be doing that. She needs to be up in a ball gown with a bob singing Dionne Warwick songs. It's like, girl, Chloe is a grown ass woman. Like, she is not your niece. She is not your daughter. Calm down. And the same reaction that Chloe Bailey got as she started to come into her own, I'm starting to notice that y'all are doing that with Blue Ivy, and that is weird. She is not your daughter. You need to relax. But I digress. Swarm was a really good show. I think Donald Glover created this movie with Janine Neighbors, and it is about a stan. Why can't I make this bigger? Anyway, it is about a woman who stands. I'm gonna go to Wikipedia real quick. It's about a woman who stands a singer. Who's, I guess, supposed to be the Beyonce of this universe. And okay, sure. Supposed to be the Beyonce of this universe, and she is a deranged fan, and she's part of the swarm, right? Which is basically like the beehive, more or less. And she goes on a rampage where she starts unaliving anybody who says anything bad about her favorite artist. And that's more or less the premise. It's basically a serial unaliver in the name of her favorite artist, Naja. Yeah, right? And I like the movie. It's really good. I like the series. It was really good. The acting was amazing. Dominique Fishback is a really good, like, she is a really good actress. The way she was able to emulate so many different characters, or like reinvent herself in different environments, and still, when it was all said and done, the main concern that she had, the one Achilles heel she had, is if anybody said anything awful about her beloved Naija. Oh my god. Even like the parodies of like Dominique Fishback's character like biting Naija in one of those episodes. And apparently through the grapevine, a celebrity actually bit Beyonce. Allegedly, somebody tried to bite Beyonce. I'm sorry. That's just funny to me. That's really funny. But she's a great actress. Now, there were some critiques about this movie, too. A lot of people were saying that Donald Glover was, like, kind of fetishizing the rage of the black woman that might be neurospicy character in this movie who was a serial killer. That's fair. That's valid. I still like the show. I thought it was really good. And I actually really wanted to watch this show right before going to see the Beyonce concert, but I never had a chance to, because I was so worried about not being able to get in or see the concert, so I never had a chance to see this show right before I went to go see Beyonce. But it's really good. It's really fun and entertaining. I definitely recommend a lot of you guys watch it, because it's interesting. You know what I mean? And then, now that we're on the topic of what Donald Glover has created, I also want to talk about another movie of mine or another series of mine that I rocks with, which is Atlanta Show. Yes. And yeah, I like this show a lot. This show is pretty good. Black Twin Peaks vibes. You know, some of the episodes are about these characters, right? And then they change into like weird anthology series about commentary on like things that have happened in Black culture. You know what I mean? And I love the show. I think I love the show especially because I live in Atlanta, so automatically I have a bias. But I've always really been a big fan of the show. I think one of my favorite episodes, God, it might have to be between the one where he's dressed up as Michael Jackson. More or less he's dressed up as Michael Jackson. Or there's another one where his aunt is basically saying like, you must not like me because I'm light skinned. Like, that episode's pretty funny too, like dealing with his toxic aunt. And then unironically, the Kevin Samuels one with Tyreek Withers, not a big fan of Kevin Samuels, but a very huge fan of Tyreek Withers. My boss used to say he looked like an ostrich, but that episode was pretty good, where it was all in black and white, and you couldn't tell if Tyreek Withers was white or black, and at the end it came out that he was biracial. That movie was that episode was pretty good. Not a big fan of Kevin Samuels, and I think my biggest criticism about Donald Glover is I think he's still going along the narrative that Black girls used to pick on him because he liked video games and nerdy shit and anime and manga and doing weird raps fetishizing Asian women and not wanted to date the basketball player instead, when in actuality that's probably not what happened. Or maybe that is what happened in his experience, but like not every Black woman is like that, you know what I mean? I don't know. Donald Glover has a lot of like self-hatred issues that are going on with him sometimes, but that still doesn't like I still like his work and I still think it's really good. I just, you know, wish he was a little bit more aware of the way he sounds in some of his episodes. I'd say one of my least favorite episodes was that one where the Black woman is going off on the white girl for being in an interracial relationship with a Black dude. And the white girl's like, I've stood by Tyreek this whole time. I don't know why you're mad at me, ma'am. And it's like, in real life, like in 2025, looking back on that, like that did not age well, because most Black girls aren't impressed if a Black dude is dating a white girl, okay? Like, nobody knows. Like, it is what it is. I know I'm not pressed. Like, me of all people, I really don't care, you know? But, I don't know. It feels like Donald Glover in some of his shows deflects or projects onto his audience about some of the insecurities that he's had about his Blackness, you know what I mean? But yeah, that series was pretty good. I liked it. And Vince Staples' show, which also has a lot of Atlanta undertones. I like that show too. I think that show is pretty good. I also like Vince Staples as well. He seems to have a good head on his shoulder. I hope he gets another series or another season. Yeah, I hope he gets another season because the Vince Staples show isn't bad. It seems like it picks right up where Atlanta left off. So, yes. Okay, so what are some of my other favorite shows that I like? Ooh. I like The White Lotus. I do. I'm a White Lotus sloot, okay? I really like The White Lotus. The White Lotus falls in the category of shows that you have to stop. Like, you can't be on your phone. You have to, it's discourse, okay? Like, it's conversation. You have to put the phone down and you got to listen to what these characters are saying and what they're not saying and what their intentions are, what they want and what they don't want. That is what The White Lotus is, okay? And if you're not willing to put in that effort into your show, don't watch The White Lotus. Don't watch it. Because, like, it demands a lot from you. It does. It really does. You know what I mean? If you're not used to people just having good dialogue and double entendres and stuff, you will find yourself getting bored really quickly. But when you finally are immersed in the chaos of a lot of these characters, and when that big huge moment finally happens where like the characters implode on each other due to the relationships they have amongst each other, it's like a really good payoff. I will say this last season here, they were in Thailand. Okay, this last season wasn't that good. It was a little too sloppy. What the previous two seasons did well is that they edged you with dialogue and telling you enough, but not too much on what you needed to know, to the point where when the big event actually happened, it was kind of poetic, but also like, wow, I wasn't expecting that. Like, it was a shocker, right? Like seasons two's big surprise moment towards the end was like, wow, I didn't think we'd end it off on a note like this, you know what I mean? But this is how we're gonna end it. What a shocker. And then even season one had a lot more to say, I guess, politically, about like imperialism in Hawaii. And season two just had a lot to say about like how wealthy folks view non-wealthy people and the dynamic between them and people trying to get access to the wealth, you know what I mean? And then season three was just, I don't know, just it was doing too much. It fell off. There was like this big critical moment between this family where I was just like, okay, is the big thing gonna happen? Are they going to drink the drink, and is he going to make everybody drink this drink and poison everyone? Or like, because I thought that would have been a great way to like end the series. It would have been a lot, but I thought that would have been interesting, and he didn't do it at the end. He was too cowardice to do it. And then these two end up getting axed, and that's weird. And then I don't know. Anyway, I spoiled season three for you. You should probably watch season three, but I love The White Lotus. I think it's great. Another show I like, of course, Insecure. I love me some Insecure, okay? Insecure is amazing, all right? I've never seen Girls before. Lena Dunham show, right? But I feel like Insecure does a better job at what Lena Dunham is doing. That's a really bad and baseless opinion to have, but I don't know. Insecure just feels very relatable. It feels very colorful. I like the way a lot of the characters are colored in the show, or lit in the show. How they're how the camera lights fall on them. I really like the dynamic between these two friends because it's genuinely like an honest dynamic of how friends interact with each other. And I don't know, I think Issa Rae really did her big one with this show. I think it's a fun time. You know, it talks about a lot of serious topics about relationships and struggle love, and if you should bring somebody back into your life or if you should move on. Even the concept of like her first boyfriend and like, you know, she cheating on him, which isn't okay. And then, you know, him ending up being an F-boy because she cheated on him and ultimately like hurting another woman in the process. Like, that's just such an interesting dynamic that you don't really see in a lot of shows or in a lot of Black media, like the commentary on that. And I think up until when Insecure came out, a lot of people kind of, I don't know, like this show did a really good job humanizing Black folks, and I appreciate that from their from Issa Rae's perspective. You know what I mean? I also like the movie she did with Keke Palmer and SZA, These Days. I think that's the name of it. Yeah, These Days. One of them days. Yeah, this movie was cute. I like this movie. It was funny. And I like how a lot of these movies and these shows that come out from like new Hollywood Black producers are all giving us a glimpse of their Black experience from where they're from. Like Issa Rae, a lot of her shows are based in Inglewood, California, showing us the Black experience there. Donald Glover, Atlanta, showing us the Black experience over there. And then Quinta Brunson. Okay, Quinta Brunson in Abbott Elementary. I love this show. 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 Is way too damn clever. It is way too damn clever. It is way too damn funny. I love how it's set in Pennsylvania, and I am hoping for the day that we get like a crossover of like Steve Carell doing a guest appearance in this show, because I'm pretty sure Quentin Brunson was inspired by the sitcom The Office, and I don't know, this show just warms my heart. I love the way the characters are written, how unique a lot of the characters are written. Like, I have never seen like an honest, open portrayal of Barbara. I think that's her name. This Cheryl Lee Ralph's character in a while. Like, God-fearing Black woman, but she's also a little imperfect, and she also does some things that, you know, might not necessarily be God-fearing, but, you know, she's human. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And you don't ever see that, honestly. You know, like, you don't ever see that type of story being told, and I don't know, that just really spoke to me, because for the longest time, a lot of those stories that are being told through the eyes of someone like Tyler Perry, that likes to characterize all of them. Like, imagine if Tyler Perry got a hold of Abbott Elementary. This would be a mess. First of all, everybody's lace fronts, including the white lady's lace fronts, look a hot mess, okay? All right? First of all, everybody would look a hot mess, all right? Second of all, Medea would have to make a grand entrance or a grand appearance, you know? And her lace front would be laid to the gods, but everybody else's would be struggling, okay? But yeah, this show is really good. Also, he is so cute. He really grew into his own, and he is so attractive now, and I love that for him. Anyway, love me some Abbott Elementary. Definitely recommend it. I have to watch the rest of the series, because I stopped off at season 2 when Janine and his teacher got together. You know what I mean? So I got to get back into the show. But yeah, love me some Abbott Elementary, and I think I'm gonna end with one more series that I've rocked with for a while, and that is Mad Men. I love Mad Men. I also like shows that are like super dialogue heavy, where not a lot of action happens. It's just two characters exchanging dialogue, and it tells you everything you need to know about them as individual characters, their motives, what they need to do, what their intentions are. Love those type of series. Succession does it very well too, where it's just characters talking and sharing dialogue. Mad Men does it very well as also. I think it should be mandatory watching for anyone between the ages of 18 to 35. Mandatory watching for y'all to watch at least a season. Okay? A season. Which I'm pretty sure is no more than like 12 to 15 episodes. They're dense, okay? But like, everybody should be watching Mad Men. Especially in the current climate that we're in. The series follows Donald Draper, John Hamm's character, who is working for a Manhattan advertisement company that was responsible for a lot of the 60s nuclear family household advertisements that had came out around that time. So basically, they were responsible for a lot of the propaganda advertisements that were being sold in the 1960s. And they were responsible for, selling these products in the way that would get people to purchase them, selling to housewives who wanted like certain appliances, selling to men at the day at that time period who maybe wanted to look more machismo or masculine. Like, they are basically responsible for the crafting of the era of the 1960s, advertisements and all, vision and all, facade and all. Okay. Donald Draper starts out married to his lovely wife Betty Draper, and they have 2 kids together, and it follows his life throughout the entire season of him being a very successful and critically acclaimed advertiser, or marketer, or what is it, creative director, more or less, at an advertisement company. Very, very good at his job, very good at telling a story and creating narratives. But while he's selling this vision and idea and concept of the American dream, his own idea of the American dream, especially when it comes to his family, his wife Betty, his children, and all of that, is in absolute shambles. It's falling apart. It's no spoiler, but like it comes out that Don is actually cheating on his wife, and the way it impacts Betty Draper, his wife, and how she is dealing with the emotions of, doing everything right as a housewife should be doing, and still ending up getting the short end of the stick of dealing with a man who still would, cheat on her, and just having to kind of suck it up for the lifestyle until she's finally done with it. Her daughter, Sally Draper, dealing with womanhood or girlhood at a young age, and evolving eventually into a woman, and the strain on the relationship between her and Betty. Even some of the other characters like Peggy and Joan, and I think his second wife, her name leaves my head right now, but this show is very important. Okay, like this show is very, very, very important. This show, especially for the stuff that we're talking about right now, especially with the push for traditional family values and nuclear family household and what happened to the 1960s and blah, blah, blah. Even though this is a fictional show with a lot of historic events that happen, like they talk about like the assassination of Martin Luther King and the death of Marilyn Monroe and the assassination of JFK. You know what I mean? Even though it's a fictional show, it really does encapsulate what the 1960s actually was versus what someone like a Donald Draper would want the 1960s to be seen as. Okay, and I think when we have these conversations about romanticizing the 1950s and what happened to the traditional wife and what happened when men used to be men and go to work and make money and be able to support their children and their wife, like what happened to that, the nuclear family household structure, you're looking at propaganda constructed probably by men similar to Donald Draper, who were showcasing to you guys what he wanted y'all to see the 1960s as, and not what the 1960s actually was. And I think that's very important, because a lot of us are being sold, especially with a lot of pipelines that are going on right now, a lot of people pushing or being pressured into traditional trad wife lifestyles and all that. Y'all are reflecting back on a time that didn't even really exist like that. And when you peel back the layers, what we're all romanticizing in 2025 that was happening in 1965, 1955 is stability. That's what we're romanticizing. It wasn't that the wife was staying home and cooking and cleaning and taking care of the kids and the husband was able to make money. That's just how it was, and it was traditional and honorable and right and just. It wasn't just that. It was the stability in that lifestyle. It was that man could go to work and come home and take care of his kids and his wife, and they not have to want for anything. And the stability in having that. And that is something that we don't have today. What you're yearning for from the 1960s, from the vision and idea and concepts of what you think the 1960s was stability. That's what you're yearning for. And I think looking at people romanticize this time period without really understanding what it was really like, because y'all haven't lived there, or not even like honestly asking your elders, like, hey, especially the women in the family, what was it like to have 8, 9, 10, 12 kids? Okay. Not genuinely asking them those questions and understanding how they felt about, you know, having to more or less sacrifice and never live for themselves. You know what I mean? Really sheds light to what Mad Men is trying to tell y'all. I think Mad Men is required watching for anybody who's an adult. Especially for women, because I think the women in the character, I think the women in the shows are written phenomenally, and I think that it does a very good job in portraying what we want life to look like versus what life is actually, you know. So definitely recommend Mad Men. Definitely recommend you watch it if you ever have time to. I don't know. This might be a series that I might like purchase, like actual physical media of this series, because it's just so real. You know what I mean? And it has so many layers. And I don't know. Like, a part of me wishes like a show like Mad Men wasn't my favorite, but it really is, because it says so much about how we're living right now. And a lot of the characters are so honest and relatable. So yeah. I'm going to talk about Nana again because I am almost done with the series for a second time. So I'm just gonna talk about Nana because I rocks with Nana heavy. Okay, so I am watching Nana for a second time. And I really want to get the manga, but I think the manga is discontinued right now. So I'm just over here watching the anime again. Somebody did a lovely edit of like Nana and Hachi to Chaperone Subway song. And I don't know, I just got really sad. Because this show is sad, and it's not sad because like a lot of the things that happen are like to an extent tragic when you look at like how their relationship ends up, right? And the different directions that they take. But I think what's even sadder is that it's just so damn honest, because they do really go in different directions of their lives. Hachi ends up getting pregnant by the guitarist on the competitor, on the band that Nana is competing against, right? And then Nana like breaks away from her band to like, I guess, pursue her music career, and like that's how it ends. That's just how it ends. And that's it. And like the community they had, like the friendship between these two, and the times that they were in the apartments just hanging out, and all the times where Nana was like, where Hachi was like, man, I wish Nana was a guy, I would totally date him. And Nana was like, I should probably sleep with Hachi. Like, why didn't you? I'm just so hurt. I'm just so hurt. And I'm hurt because that shit is real. That shit is real. That is real shit. That is real woulda, coulda, shoulda type shit. That is like the most coming of age story, right? Someone made parallels to Nana and Insecure, and like to an extent, I kind of see it. But I think because anime is just used to like, usually the tones of anime is like way more dramatic, right? It's just more intense. You know, all the characters are really good and well thought out, and you know, cop heterosexuality is a bitch because they really should have just ended up together. And it makes me sad that they didn't. And it makes me sad that Hachi ended up with this dude who ain't shit. He really isn't. When she should have probably ended up with her. Like, she needed to end up with her. That's how it should have ended. You know what I mean? But that's not how it went down. And I don't know. I guess in my alternate reality, or in whatever smutty fan fiction I end up reading tonight to compensate. Maybe they end up together. I really don't know, but I'm just so hurt. I'm so hurt. But yeah, this is one of my favorite animes, and I have to get the manga. I have to get the manga. I have to read the manga. I hear the manga just brings a different vibe to the series that you just would not understand if you just watch the anime. So I gotta get the manga. Gotta get the manga. But yeah, had to rant about Nana a little bit. Had to rant about them a little bit. And I'm still wondering, now that we're on like television series and whatnot, did Black Clover get a new season? Because I'm confusion. Like, did the new season come out? Because I stopped watching and I kind of want to get back into it. I would like to get back into Black Clover. Okay, so it's returning. Black Clover anime is returning in 2025, specifically as a new season, season 2, that will continue the story. Okay, this is AI overview. No, I don't want AI overview. AI overview doesn't know. I don't trust AI overview. Yeah, we stopped here, man. We stopped here. Where do we go after this? Where's season 5? I don't think it's done yet. I also heard that Black Clover was to replace Naruto, and that's why it is the way it is. Like, Asta's basically, I call Black Clover Naruto Potter, okay? I call it Naruto Potter because it's basically wizards with Naruto undertones. Asta is basically Naruto, but with a sword and wanting to be, what is he? He wants to be like, the King Wizard. He wants to be the Wizard King. So, yeah, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I'm not really looking forward to, or I am looking forward to how this series ends, but I can just tell that this was supposed to fill a quota that Naruto could no longer fill. So yeah, I feel away. I would like Black Clover to get back, or come back, because I would like to continue to watch it. And My Hero Academia, Academica. So I'm all caught up. But, and I think the series is gonna end soon. But I just want more episodes. And I want to see how it ends. I really want to see how it ends. I have theories that Bakugo is going to be the only one with superpowers and nobody else is going to have superpowers, or Bakugo ends up being the only one without superpowers and everybody else around him has superpowers. Something along the lines of that. That's what my theory is. And I think that would make sense and be kind of poetic with the superpower that he has, All for One. Or One for All. Shit. Don't shit on me, you guys. But like his superpower and the name of his superpower is kind of poetic for a lot of the for like how this would probably end, how this show would probably end. I think he's gonna lose his powers. Rest in peace, Kathy Bates. I don't know why they put her in this show if she was gonna end up dead in like 2 episodes. But anyway, rest in peace, Kathy Bates. Anyway, yes. So I'm all caught up with My Hero Academia, waiting for more episodes to drop. I need to finish up Dadan. Like, I need to finish up that show because it's really good, and season 2 is out now. And yeah, I also hear K-pop Demon Hunters is really good. I don't know. Y'all don't want to know my real opinions about K-pop Demon Hunt, or just K-pop in general. Like, I could probably watch K-pop Demon Hunters, but I go in and out of liking K-pop for reasons. And I don't know. It's between K-pop and country music. I just feel really gaslit at times. Like, I feel like they're just playing in my face. Like, it's like, especially when you see artists like Tinashe, who the K-pop industry steals and rips from constantly, and she never gets her flowers. They don't even have her featured on songs. Like, Megan Thee Stallion gets to be on a song. So Weedy has a song with some K-pop artists. And, they don't do anything with Tinashe. I just don't like that. I don't like that. And just the, I don't know, the anti-blackness of K-pop while using black sound in order to embellish their brand, and it just gets annoying, man. But anyway, I'm going to, without being too negative, I'm probably gonna watch K-pop Demon Hunters one of these days. I'm probably gonna be a big fan of it. I'm just preparing myself. But yeah, I hear the series is really good, and apparently it makes history. Becomes platform's most watched animated film ever. Yeah, that makes sense. That checks. The film's soundtrack also debuted at #1 on the Billboard soundtracks chart. Okay. Okay, yeah, cool. That's awesome. So yeah, I'm gonna probably watch K-pop Demon Hunters and see what my thoughts are on it. Because I feel like I would really enjoy that show or that movie. And while we're on animated series, I like Arcane. I just want to talk about how I really am a fan of Arcane. Yeah, I really like Arcane a lot. Particularly Savika and Vi. I'm big fans of Savika and Vi, and that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. That's the end of that. All right. I don't wanna goon on Maine. See, isn't this nice, guys? This is so pretty. This is how I would like my apartment to look. Just so extra. Plants, a sink here, a vanity over here, near the plants. Why? I don't know, but I don't know. I'm a big fan of that. So anyway, that is it with all the favorite movies that I like. I think I'm going to spend the remainder of the time playing some games. I'm going to take a quick break and get some water. I haven't been posting a lot of YouTube videos, but I'm always reminding people to drink their water. And I have to say, if you're going to be drinking from like gallons of water, make sure you're drinking purified water or spring water. Don't be like me and drink distilled. You're not supposed to be drinking distilled water, and I think that explains a lot of the reason why I haven't been feeling well as of lately. You're not supposed to be drinking distilled water. So I told my boyfriend that we're gonna make the pivot to purified water. He doesn't like it, but we're just gonna do it because you're not supposed to be drinking distilled. Anyway, I'm gonna go get some water for myself and be right back. Okay, I'm back. Hi, guys. Hello. Another thing I want to talk about with protein and me eating way too much protein than I'm supposed to, I also realized that as I eat lighter amounts of protein or the correct portions of protein that I need, I can digest protein powders and protein bars a lot better. And that's pretty nice. I like that for me. But before, I could not digest any protein powders or any protein bars as well as I can now. A hack for me though is that I try to avoid whey products. This next set of meal plans, I have to eat whey because of like what's on the meal plan, but usually I just eat vegan proteins and it works out well for me. But yeah, now that I'm eating everything in correct portion sizes, I don't get bloated when I eat protein bars and protein powder. So now I have to go to the bathroom. So I will be right back very quickly, and then we'll probably get into some gaming or something. Are you okay? I mean it. Okay, I am back. Like for realsies this time. Okay. Um here to show you guys more of what I would like my future apartment to look like, or my future home to look like. This is also another great example. Though I hear if you were to build a house near the beach side, it would be super expensive. But I don't know. I think I could make money like that to have my apartment look like a vampy crime mob wife house. I would love that. So pretty, so pretty. Anyway, let's start playing some Marvel Rivals. I think I'm gonna spend a good chunk of my time playing Marvel Rivals, and then probably close things off from here. Next week, I want to do a special deck. I want to do a special deck of, like, I guess some Exus lore, like my experience growing up, you know, and what that was like for me. And yeah, I want to share that with y'all without trauma dumping too much. Which I don't think I will trauma dump. I think it might, if anything, it'll just be like, oh dang, that sucks. But yeah, I'm probably gonna do a deck. Whoa, too loud. I'm probably gonna do a deck based off of that. Okay, let me get comfortable. I'm probably gonna play a lot of Cloak and Dagger today. I don't know, I'm in a supporty mood. And I feel like Cloak and Dagger they're pretty solid strategists. They're really easy to pick up. Their ranking system for the difficulty of heroes in this game is so off. It's so ass backwards. Like, for example, they gave Emma Frost. Didn't they give Emma Frost like 2 stars? Let me look. No, they gave her 3 stars, and she's like 4. Miss Mams is like 4 stars. Maybe 5, maybe 4.5 stars. And then Cloak and Dagger has 3 stars, but really it's like 2 or 1.5. You just need to know when to hit L shift. And really you should just be a dagger most of the time, so I don't know. Alright, I'll try to talk more while I play this game.
Same with me.
She got the Jeff.
30 seconds before you attack.
Oh, I also realized in this game, if you're not playing competitive, then you're playing against bots.
Is really where you came from?
Like not all the time, but if you lose a lot, they'll like boost your morale by having you go against bots. And ever since I've heard that, I've been so hurt. Because I don't want to play against no clankers.
The battle starts in 5.
I don't know. Me and my friends were playing and we were losing a lot, and then we played one game, and it felt like the characters on the other side weren't even pushing. Like they would just like throw attacks and then like back off, which is not how like average human players play the game. And I don't know. I just thought about that, and they told me, oh yeah, you might be playing against bots, and I'm like, what do you mean we're playing against bots? Wait, is this a new map? Is this a new map? Okay, I'm following Jack. Thank you, Jack. Okay. Let me go over here. I need to be healing the tank. Groot, why are you all the way down there, though? Get it together, Groot. by Groot. I don't know if this was a good idea. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm playing against... Is this the same map? Are we on a different area of the map? There's so many mushrooms here. I don't like the mushroom trees. They look so gnarly. Alright. Is that Groot? Groot, is that you? Is that you, Groot? Why are you? Oh my god. Oh god, I don't want him. I want him to leave me alone. Yeah, it seems like, I don't know, it feels like I'm playing against bots a little bit. Oh god. Yeah, I feel like we're playing against bots. Why is Groot all the way up there? Good, Jeff. Oh, he looks. Oh my god! Okay, cool. Cool. I don't know, playing against bots just, I don't know, is a little demoralizing for me. But I know, to truly know that I'm not playing against bots, I'd have to play competitive, and I don't want to play competitive. I played competitive once, I played Bronze 3, and 2 of my playmates dropped out. What am I supposed to do with that?
30 seconds before you attack.
We couldn't even like fight them. We just stayed at like the edge.
That is some pretty impressive tech you're wearing, kid. Steve got it for me. It's from the future.
Like right before you enter the arena. That's where we were. Like, and there was no way we were winning. So I don't know if I can deal with rage quitters. And I don't know. Competitive just seems like a different ball game.
All you need to do is capture the mission area.
Capture the mission area.
Time has claimed a lot of good soldiers. I won't let it take any more.
Okay, I gotta follow Groot. Groot.
I don't think that's the welcoming committee.
Wait, where? This isn't a good idea. Maybe I should defend Groot from afar.
You captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going.
Born again!
Oh, why did I do that? Okay, I don't think I'm playing against real people. I don't think I'm playing against real people. I think I'm playing against bots. Anyway. Because look at this.
Welcome to the Dark Force dimension.
Oh, where is that going?
Keep fighting until we have a winner. Everybody needs a hand sometimes. Or a dagger.
Oh no.
The moon!
I'm ready to put on a
None
show.
of that. Oh, we lost control? What? Really? Really? Damn.
Behold the god of thunder!
Oh no. Oh no, Alexandre. Alexandre needs to. Wait, why didn't Alexandre come over there? This is how I feel. Why I feel like I'm playing against bots. Ah!
My time to shine.
Just what the hell is this shit? Oh god. This isn't good.
My time to shine. Their team's capture progress has passed the halfway point. My time to shine. Just embrace the light.
That boat's bringing my step.
Can't let them. Not like this, at least. Not like this.
My time to shine.
Starbucks are a little off the center.
Okay. Yay.
Let's keep fighting until we have a winner.
Okay, good. Because what the fuck was that? Because what the fuck was that?
Another epic victory.
There was no reason why at 99% they gain control. Yay! Yeah, I don't think these are real people. They don't have numbers in their name. I don't know, just something in my stomach tells me. Oh, I didn't want to congratulate myself. Okay, I'm gonna... There's a way I can check to see if I play with actual people. Yeah, these aren't real people. spots. Anyway, alright, let's move on.
The right heroes could make all the difference. We are Cloak and Dagger. We are hope and fear. But they just don't know him. They'll be coming in 30 seconds. Stay strong.
The worst part about white costumes, the blood stains. Am I right?
Where's the tank?
I wouldn't know. I don't
Okay.
like to hurt people.
Ooh, look at Groot's costume. That's cute. Is this Venom Groot?
Something tells me I should start with you. The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You have to stop them from securing the mission area.
Okay. Damn it, Groot. Don't be over there like that.
My time to shine.
Playing against the squirrel girl. Ah. Oh, damn it. Freaking squirrel girl.
I am the light in the darkness.
That's great, Moon Knight. That's great to know. Okay.
My time to shine.
Berserker! Rage! Someone scratch my back!
Those little spiders pack a punch. Be careful.
From the break, baby!
Everybody needs a hand sometimes. Or a dagger.
This is Khonshu's will.
Oh, okay. Oh, no. I don't want none of that.
My time to shine.
Ah! Ah!
The moon haunts you!
Double KO! I wasn't sure we'd get this chance again.
Revenge is no fighting!
The only one. I'll get you next time. You need to stop that vehicle in its tracks. My time to shine.
Hey, Dee! Enjoy the amplifier!
Why am I hiding over here? Ah! Ah! Ah!
This is real firepower!
to shed some light. Stop them in their tracks. They didn't have wings. Stop them.
Things never change.
Spiders pack a punch. Be careful.
Call him a spider once. I was a little messed up.
Still, I'm trying to help.
None of that.
I'll patch you up.
I'll get you next time. Stop them in their tracks.
Yeah.
On your toes.
Groot, what is going on, man? Get it together, Groot. Damn it.
Someone scratch my back.
My time to shine. Stop them in their tracks. Let's go.
Lights out.
I'm back to shed some light.
Lights out. Dark force that we might have here.
My time to shine.
I was a little messed up there. Thanks. This beacon is done for.
I'll get you next
What is that? What is that?
That squawking hurt.
You owe me one.
Leave them to consume.
Only 60 seconds left.
Berserker! Tremble before fast! This is real firepower!
Damn it.
Hey, Dee!
Better stop that vehicle.
Fire!
They hit a checkpoint. Now might be a good time to stop them. Shine.
I think after this turn, I'm probably gonna switch into Invisible Woman. Is he okay? Okay.
Lights out. Welcome to the Dark Force dimension.
My time to shine.
Ah, shit! Oh, I said I was gonna change. I said I was gonna change. Might as well. Don't have much time left, but that's okay.
Who wants to see something fantastic? No worries, I got your back. Keep fighting until we have a winner.
I have nothing left. You guys are gonna have to take it for a minute. Oh god. Come on. Damn. We don't get it.
I don't give up so easily.
Tremble before fast!
Really? Wow, we won? Wow. No thanks to me. Oh, look at Black Panther. Okay, that's cool. Aw. Fist pump.
Pick your hero. Or villain. I'm not judging.
I'll get Salty Squirrel
Eat
Girl.
nuts and kick butts.
I haven't played her in a minute, but I don't know. I'm a better strategist than a DPS. I should play Jeff more, though. I think I'd like him.
When other people first saw my powers, they were like, wait, 30 seconds before you attack. Now they're get ready. My squirrel. When I see someone with powers like yours, I think, wow. I mean, how can I compare? Don't compare. You destroy the universe. The battle starts in 5, 4, 3.
Damn, we have no DPS? Oh, no, we have DPS.
Got it?
I thought we didn't have a tank, but we do. Vanguard, that's what they're called. We have a Vanguard. Emma. Alright, I'm gonna...
Here they come!
Ah! Get away! Thank you. Oh god, what the hell was that? What was that? What even was that?
I feel like I'm being watched. For sure.
Okay. Oh, they got it.
Oh, my tail? Yeah, it's super warm and is very handy in combat.
I wonder if the tail is an accessory or if it's actually a part of her. And how does she live day-to-day life? Like, how does she poop?
30 seconds before
How would you
attack.
poop with that big of a tail? Valid questions I have. Valid questions.
I sense your concern. You have already proven your worth. If this battle is to be won, it will be because you are on our side. The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it? Yep, but all this time, it's nice to finally have some help saving the universe. There they are. I like the cold. Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now. Mission area is yours. I'm not done with this fight yet. Hello, happy to chip in. Oh, I need assistance.
Jesus.
More than half of the mission area. Keep going. We are unstoppable. I'm not done with
Okay.
this fight yet. Defend like it's
I
your
am not
life.
playing well as, so I'm just gonna.
Feels good to step outside my
change.
bubble every now and then.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
They mean business. I've always been a heavy hitter. You belong to me! Psionic burst! That was fine. Oh, I need assistance. That's better.
Okay, why am I not?
I've got you covered. You don't have to fight alone. Force burst! Psionic burst! And already. One can still enjoy winning. Your team's capture progress has passed the halfway point. Control C's! That's much better. Clearly you needed some help. Fear thyself.
It's not. Oh God.
I am ready to. I don't give up so
Let's
easily.
keep fighting until we have a winner.
Well, at least we won this one. Hopefully.
The perfect hit.
the world.
I'll fight for my family until the end.
Oh no. Always at 99% too. That's annoying.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
Hey.
I was worried. Clearly you needed some help.
That was supernova.
You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner. Trophies! I've got you covered.
Okay. Woo! I think after this, I'm gonna shut it down.
Cosmic rays didn't make me who I am today. My family did. Seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Whoa, you're so heat. Oh my god, you are such a huge star to the Badoon.
I am amazing. I didn't think you were resistant to K-pop.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, Rocket said that we could sell signed pics of you for like a fortune on Motiara.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
Okay, let me shield people. What am I doing? I'll tell you what I'm not doing. Shielding people.
The mission area is yours to capture now.
Ah, I don't want that. I don't want that.
I won't disappear so easily.
That's the stuff.
Our enemies are here. That one hurts.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
Okay. Right. Okay, I gotta start guarding people. This isn't good.
guests.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, no. That wasn't smart. Damn it.
I'll fight for my family until the end.
You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
Like they're about to close it. Yeah.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
Okay. Well, that was fun. Woo. Alright, so I think I'm good for today. I'm a little tired, so I gotta get ready for next week. Gotta apply for more jobs and I don't know, kind of enjoy my fun employment. Start cleaning a lot because I got a lot of cleaning to do. And yeah, just kind of focusing on that. This stream was great and awesome, and thanks to all of you who did end up showing and attending my stream. I really appreciate it. Next week, I will come out with another deck with some topics that are on my mind. And I don't know. Let me know how you guys feel about this time. If you guys appreciate me pushing the time back a little bit later to 10:30, or would you rather me stream at 9:30? Let me know because the world is my oyster right now currently. So that would be really appreciative. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for catching in on my stream, and I can't wait to see you next time tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day or evening. All right, and see you next weekend. Bye, guys.